Blessed be everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about 3 things about shadow work that help you become a more powerful witch and human being in general, really. But before we dive into the topic, I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path and Tapping into Abundance. If you want to know more about Wicca, witchcraft and shadow work, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to know where you can start to do your shadow work because you're really wanting to make that change and step into your power as a witch, take a look at my free masterclass. It's called How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing the Energy Centers, and that of course is the 7 chakras. The link to that masterclass is in the description field below this video. From time to time I get emails from people asking me to help them become a more powerful witch, or help them become aware and tap into their witch powers, or for me to give them witch powers. As if witches have this unique power that no one else has. And it's not really true. We as human beings do have the capacity, all of us, to do magic. Magic's something that everyone has the ability to do. It's just that as witches we make an effort and when we make it our business to learn how to do these things, and we're attracted to these things. We resonate with it, and a lot of people in the mainstream don't. But the real power of a witch is really inside ourselves. It's our ability to know who we are, to understand our shadow side and to integrate it and to bring it into the light and make it a source of our power, the seat of our power, in a positive, constructive, creative way, and to be more courageous and more fearless and more confident in who we are as people. And when we're in that situation, we're much more powerful as a person. So our power comes from within. It always comes from within. And if you want to be really powerful as a witch, you have to become powerful as a person. So the very first reason why shadow work helps you become more powerful as a witch is simply the know thyself. Shadow work gives you knowledge, and knowledge is power. So if you have more knowledge of yourself, who you are, how you think, what masks do you wear, how many eyes live within you, because we have more than one eye. When we talk about eye, we have many different eyes, different personalities. Some personalities manifest with some people and they're hidden away from other people. And the more you step into your power, the more you're going to actually show your true personality and reveal the real you, the real you, of the essence of you that you may be hiding because you've learned from your childhood that it's not safe to really fully be who you are in the world. So know thyself will give you the knowledge of who you are, how you do you, why you do you the way you do you. And when you have that knowledge, you can start to look at things that maybe you'd like to be able to do, the you you'd like to be able to express more of, and how and why you're hiding it. And then you can go from there to learn what to do with the problem of hiding it, to bring that part of you out into the world. Also to help you be a little bit more relaxed around other people as well, because you realize that we're not all that different. We all struggle pretty much with the same things, and our shadow side is the same. It resonates differently. Some things are stronger in other people. There's some shadow qualities that some people tend to have more of an issue with than other shadow qualities. So it'll vary from people to people. But every shadow quality that you could probably ever list, and there's like, so many of them, we all have them within us. And to think that we don't, we're kind of deluding ourselves, because we have every single one of them. It's just that some are more potent in some people's lives than in other people's lives. So it's just a matter of understanding that. So know thyself, then you end up knowing others as well. So that's the first one. The second one is that shadow work helps take you into that part of yourself that we call the dark side. Now, there really is no dark or light in reality, but we separate these things, I guess, to give us a little bit more of a sense of something that we can actually hold on to with our language to describe these things. And typically the dark side is the side we can't see, because we human beings are pretty blind in the dark. We're not like cats. We can't see in the dark, and so the dark side often is the parts of ourselves we can't see. And this can be the good stuff too. It's not just like the harmful aspects of ourselves, like the things that we can do sometimes that we can fall into that can be harmful, like arrogance and selfishness and revenge or vengeance and resentment and all of those things. It's also the light side of ourselves, or what we'd call the light side, and I'll put that in quotation marks. Well, that we'd assume is more positive and tends to be more positive. And that's all those qualities that you have that you may want to express into the world that are really quite helpful in the world, but you're too afraid. Like, it could be some of your talents that you want to express that are hiding away in the shadow. It could be aspects of yourself that a part of yourself that where you're very giving, but you're afraid of giving for a fear of rejection, or you don't feel worthy, or things like that. That's all in the shadow too. So there's all sorts of goodies hiding in your shadow. And when you go into the shadow, initially probably to look for the parts of yourself that are causing problems, you'll find that there's also you're also suppressing or oppressing parts of yourself that actually really do need to come out into the beautiful light. It gives you a sense of resilience when you go into these parts of yourself. When you confront your selfishness and your arrogance and your vengeance and your resentfulness and all of these things, and you confront them and you can own them and say, yeah, I have these in me too. And you can start to work with why you've got them in there, and generally speaking, they're in there to keep you safe, particularly as a child. And how do you mine these qualities for their gifts, because they do have gifts, and how do you stand in the power of these qualities when they're used in a more positive way, such as protecting yourself, standing up for yourself, defending yourself, because this is where all of these shadow qualities actually do have their strength. It's being able to protect you. That's what they're there for. But it's understanding how they can protect you in a way that is truly protecting you and not causing destruction unnecessarily to you or to other people. It's like, how do I use these in the most productive way whilst at the same time standing in the power of these qualities? So for example, arrogance is a way of acknowledging something that you feel you're very good at. Arrogance is going just a little bit too over the top because it's compensating for the part of you that's doubting yourself. But if you're confident in something, then you can use the energy of that confidence and the strength of that confidence to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do and have that confidence for. If you understand your selfish side, you can understand that part of that selfishness is protecting you in some way from going without, or protecting you from giving so much that you burn out. And so how do you stand in the power of that to protect yourself from the burnout or giving away or everything, or succumbing to someone else's selfishness when they try to pressure you with guilt and shame to give more than you can, or do something that you can't do or aren't prepared to do for whatever reason. And so knowing your inner selfishness is there to keep you safe, and understanding how it does that, you can make a judgment call when you need to say no to somebody, and understand that that no is really coming from a place of sincerity, and that you're not trying to make excuses for you valuing your own time or your own energy or whatever it is that selfishness is protecting you from. It helps you get a greater sense of yourself when you go into these parts of yourself and confront these parts of yourself. You'll learn more about who you are and you'll feel more confident in who you are, and then that's when you start to express more of who you are. You're accepting who you are. And the funny thing is, when you start accepting all of these aspects of yourself, you start to accept them a little bit more when you see them in other people. It's not so much that you allow them, of course, to be destructive toward you. It's just that you see it when somebody's going into anger or somebody's going into something that may have triggered you in the past. It no longer triggers you anymore because you've taken ownership of that part of yourself and acknowledged that part of yourself. No matter how hideous it may be, you've acknowledged that, you know, sometimes there's a little bit of that can happen. And I can be a little bit like that at times, and just acknowledging that that's there and understanding that. You become less triggered by other people. And those people that used to trigger you in the past will either stop triggering you or they'll just go away. You won't be triggered so much by it. You won't have people coming into your life that are causing you to go into anger or causing you to go into resentment or causing you to feel the need to get revenge. Those people start to go away when you start to understand more about yourself and what's causing you to be or feel the way that you are, and acknowledging those parts of yourself. And it's about doing all of this with love. It's not about judgment. You're not there to judge yourself for having these qualities. You're there to understand we've all got these qualities. Every single human being on this planet has the same shadow qualities. So it's just understanding that you have them too, and we've all got them. And when someone does try to shame you or guilt you by telling you you're arrogant or telling you that you're narcissistic or telling you that you're being selfish, if you're truly standing in your power and you have worked on these shadow qualities, that the arrogance, the narcissism and the selfishness within, then it doesn't trigger you. You can say, well, yeah, I can certainly, yes, there's, yep, narcissism is there, selfishness is there, arrogance is there, yep, that's there too. And then you can shock them by telling them that, hey, you know, there's a hell of a lot more there. If you want to keep going, we'll be here for the next year if you want to keep going, and telling me all these bad things about myself, because, you know, there's a lot of them. And when you can admit that there's a lot of shadow side to yourself freely, then that actually makes you a much stronger person, because you're no longer giving your power away to that person and denying that you have those qualities. And it's probably not that you're acting on those qualities either when you're having the conflict with this person. It's just that they're trying to manipulate you by calling you names and getting you to do whatever it is that they want you to do. Because that's how we operate. We manipulate other people through trying to shame them, so that the person we're shaming self-regulates themselves to what we want them to do. And if you've done a lot of shadow work, that doesn't work for them so well anymore. And you'll find that you may stop doing it too if we do it. Because we all do it. We've learned to do this. This is something we've all learned to do. So we all fall into this together. This isn't about judging ourselves or beating ourselves up. This is about setting ourselves free and loving ourselves. The third thing is that we become fearless, more fearless, I should say. We don't become completely fearless, but we have less fear, because we've faced some of the scariest stuff that we could ever face within ourselves. And we've gone back probably even to childhood traumas and things that we didn't want to face about ourselves and about life and about people. And we've gone and we've faced all of that and we've dealt with it. And so it tends to make us more fearless. It tends to make us more assertive. It tends to make us stand more in the power of our truth. And that is a very empowering thing, to be more fearless and to be more courageous, to have more confidence, is a very powerful place to be. And you have more strength, more inner strength. Think of the tarot card, the strength card, where in the Waite-Smith deck there's a woman and she's taming a lion. The lion is like the shadow side in some ways. It's that beast part of ourselves that we can sometimes go into. And what she's doing is she's gently taming the lion. She's not being harsh with the lion. She's not judging the lion. She's not criticizing the lion. She's patting the lion because she's tamed the lion. And that's given her great strength. So that's what we're doing when we're doing shadow work. We're doing the strength card. We're doing the business of the strength card. We're taming the lion. We're caring for the lion. We're not trying to kill the lion. We're not trying to do anything to harm the lion. We're just taming the lion so that the lion becomes a part of us that serves us rather than us serving it. It becomes more, I guess, more like a kitty cat than a lion when we're working with the shadow. But the shadow can be a lion when it needs to be a lion. So when we need the lion within ourselves for protection, whether it's for ourselves or other people, the lion can come out and protect, like a spirit animal can do that, or if we shapeshift into a spirit animal, it's there for protection. So shadow work helps us understand who we truly are, and so we're not being manipulated by other people or the world or events around us, and we're no longer victims to circumstances and victims of what's going on. We can take back the control in the situation by being able to deal with ourselves and how we react to things. And this is where the strength is. It allows us to be able to protect ourselves in a much more functional way and almost in a much more powerful way. It gives us that power to protect ourselves. There's this saying, there's nothing more dangerous than a person with nothing to lose, and that's true. And the shadow work helps you see that. There is definitely nothing more powerful than somebody who has nothing to lose. And when you've done a lot of shadow work, you'll find that sometimes you feel like you've done so much work on yourself that you look back on your past, and it's almost like looking back on a previous life. It's like you've died and come back to a new life, like in reincarnation, but it's actually the same physical life. And the Sufis have this saying, die before you die. And what they mean is to die to the old self, die to the old ego-programmed self, and to become who you truly are, while you're still actually physically alive in this plane. And that's what shadow work does. It helps you very much transform from the old you, which wasn't really you, it was the you that was kind of hiding the you, and into the real you. And that reminds me of the death card in the tarot, where you're going through that transformation of out with the old and in with the new. Of course, you take things still with you. It's not like that all of you dies. It's just that it transforms into more of who you are, and that makes you more powerful than any spell to manipulate the outside world is. It's far more powerful than any of that inner work. It really is incredibly important, and it will make you a much more powerful person and a more powerful witch. If you want to learn more about how you can do your shadow work with me and with in your own time, you don't have to do it like intense. You can take your time with it. I do have the course Wheels of Empowerment. It is the course where we combine the shadow work with some ritual, really beautiful rituals to help you work with the change or the transformation of the parts of yourself you don't want into the parts of yourself that you do want to bring in. There's the processes there to help you tap into the parts of yourself or beliefs that you didn't know were there that are keeping you stuck, and processes to help you release those beliefs and transform and change those beliefs. I use hypnotherapy too, so there's guided meditations there that are really there to help reinforce the strong stuff, the stuff that's actually going to really be positive for you, and also to help you connect with each one of the chakras, because it works with the chakras, the limitations and the shadow aspects at each chakra, to transform not just how you feel about yourself, but to really help balance the chakras at the same time. A lot of the experiences that we have, whether it's physical issues or emotional issues, even the way that we think. It's all to do with our programming, and the chakras are so involved in how we think and what we believe and how we perceive. They're so connected, and we can balance those chakras and experience better health, better relationships, better relationship with money or material, survival, on all of those levels. So that's why it's so important to work with the shadow work and work with the chakras. So if you're interested in doing the Wheels of Empowerment course, the link's in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll see you on the next video.